and there's seagulls, no matter where the fuck you are in the United States. Right? Seagulls have made their way into that.
You know, I used to live next to a trash dump when I was younger. We lived on an abandoned farmhouse, and built in the 1700s. In fact, there was horsehair in the mortar. That's made it stronger.
There's what?
Horsehair.
Oh,
In the mortar.
Yeah.
Look at this. That's made it really strong back. That's how old that thing was, you know. But we lived next to this driveway. I used to go out and play in the orange mud, hang out there. Couldn't drink the water. There's leeches in the creek. And so I said, "What's your life like?" I said, "Well, there's so much trash and stuff out there. I just played out there for literally off and on for years, you know, 3 years."
Well, and there's different. See, there also are. I actually don't know, but I think there's different dumps too. There's like the garbage, like construction waste and this and that, and then there's the garbage like they pick up from your house, which has the food and the diapers in it.
Well, now it's a Superfund site. So when I see these kids living in what's it called, Brasilia down in Brazil, and all that trash around and everything else.
Yeah.
I understand what they're doing, man. I didn't live in trash, but I've been around it. And those kids, people go, "What do you think?" But I said, that's the reason I don't have any kids looking at that shit. People, we can have more kids. I'm thinking, we can't even take care of the ones we have now, man.
No, that's for sure.
And people go like this going, here's what I get angry at utopians, they call them. People say, "Well, I know a good way to fix the world's problems." They go, "What is it?" Blah, 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 right? They tell me this, the idea they had to fix the world's problems. They go, "Have you ever been out in the world?" You ever get that kind of, I think you get that kind of look in your face, you're going, "Do you guys ever know how human beings even interact with us? We got plans." Okay. I've read these utopian books in the old days compared to and I believe in dystopian too. I think there's like balance there, you know? The idea, we can all, run by computers. I think one of the greatest movies I've ever seen for horror of computers is HAL 9000 from 2001. I'm thinking, why don't you have that thing running it's just a suicide program.
What are you doing, Dave? Why do you hide from the camera, Dave?
The other thing I think was funny was when that camera came on, they said 18 months ago we found intelligent life under the moon. I'm thinking, that's a good time to find out, isn't it? You're there in deep space, the computer's just been disabled, you're all by yourself because the other guy's at Frank Pullman that cut his cords and everything,
yeah.
He's gone. There's only you out there going, okay. Have you ever been put in that position before where you find something out like that, but you can't tell anybody else about it because you may not think you're crazy, you keep it to yourself, but it hurts your mind because of a certain family thing or a certain neighborhood thing, even something that maybe you found out about the neighborhood. I found some stuff out, people on that, some of the neighbors up around from me, some horrific things. They go, "Okay, John, what do you do with this information?"
Right.
And sometimes you're all alone out there in the universe with the Stargate you're going to go through because you get no one else, you can't tell anybody else.
Yeah.
I've experienced, I think everybody's experienced that in their life, that one thing you learned about. How do you tell anybody else about this? I think it's what happens sometimes when people get enlightened in a certain area. You become like Nietzsche coming out and saying, "Who's the madman? You killed God, I killed God," type of thing, pointing the fingers.
Well, you can't. Honestly, the only thing you can do is live your life.
The best you can.
Yeah, and if you're concerned with what other people might do with theirs, you can seek comfort in the idea that they are probably, some people are paying attention and will heed your example. I mean, I've even noticed that in my life. It's like if you just pump the brakes and chill out and just live your life the way you want to live your life, you'll notice that people are like, "Hey," because they're like, "What is this guy doing?" If they want to know what you're doing and they want to take advice from your examples from you, they'll just observe you. And so really, I've given up on telling people anything about what I'm doing, or what I'm saying. We have our talks and they go a certain way sometimes, but I'm not trying to convert you in any certain way, and you're not trying to convert me either.
Do you look at conversations? Do you look forward to them?
Yeah, I do.
I'm not fucking with the camera.
Well,
the UFO.
Oh, are you recording now
Yeah,
finally?
yeah.
Well, you missed all the good stuff. But that's okay. You got your show to contend with.
No, I got the thing with the UFO there on the black and white.
You
It's
do
all
a
blacked
little
out.
bit on there. That's good.
God damn
Did
it,
you
John! You
film-
look at the camera.
Did you film my phone?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. God damn it,
I
John!
can send it to you if you want.
You got that on there too. You got a little. No.
I don't know what you would do with it. Put it
Well-
I was gonna say I could send you my vid. I could send you that. But like, I don't know. You'd have to like explain it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's fine. What you did was fine. You basically just. Oh, you're saying it was black.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's another thing is, when the last thing I did in Pennsylvania, the last thing I did over there, we went downtown Philadelphia for a couple of days to see what people do in the projects. You know, get an idea what the poverty down there,
Uh huh.
and
Where?
in Philadelphia. It was 1975. We took a train
Oh,
ride from
Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Oh.
and went to North Philly or Central down by Independence Hall. We went to that area too, and I didn't like it down there. You know.
Philly's a bit rough. I've spent some time there. We had my sister and her boyfriend at the time. When I was younger, we would hang out, and we all went to Philly once, and we visited and hung out with her friend from college and her boyfriend or whatever, and they were living together in an apartment like in a very inexpensive area because they were going to law school, and so their apartment was great and everything, but like the surrounding area was very, I guess, crime ridden, you could say. Sketchy is a good word. Like, ah. Is that the feeling you got? Sketchy?
Yes. We're in this big church, mostly white kids. We're sitting there, and the project's right behind us. You can see them, And I'm thinking, man, this is where it is right now. You're in ground zero as far as you're not like some ethereal thing with some tucked away church. You're actually in downtown.
Right.
And it was a learning experience for all of us because
Every time we come here, there's a fucking fly, dude. Every time.
He's waiting for you.
It's because that tree, there's plants. It's like it provides an ecosystem,
Yeah, the ecosystem in my backyard is something there. It's like all kinds of insects and everything. But I look at the backyard thinking, well, it could be a lot greener.
Why don't you do more with that?
I don't know.
I mean, do you have any interest?
No. I go back and I sit there with nothing. It's like my is that
But like, why don't you plant like a tree or something,
I should.
or a bush,
Bush might be a lot better.
or a couple bushes? I mean, let me know if you'd like to do that. I'll help you.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do what kind of bush would be applicable to any kind of environment? You're pretty good about that.
Well, you should do high desert stuff. So you just have to ask people what kind of local stuff, or research it on the internet. There's local to this area, right? And so you can either buy that stuff, or you can just go out in a fucking field that no one's paying attention and transplant cactus. There's lots of cactus that would grow here really well. It doesn't need much water.
Oh, yesterday
You're not even supposed to water them.
it's on the internet. I fell off a rock yesterday. I tumbled some cactus, got up my ass. I pulled the last one out this morning. The last thing, I'm still sticking in the last needle. And my friend was going, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah, I ate like 2 pieces of candy beforehand, so everyone stuck me behind for like almost half the walk at one time. Finally pulled it out. I felt okay until I came down from my 2 candies, and I thought, now I could feel it. I was out there, you're up in the mountains, you fall in some cactus, I going, no big deal, man, you chose to come up here. There's always the possibility of getting your leg stuck on a piece of cactus. It's the way it is, man. You can do that just walking around town here. Why me? I'm thinking, cactus is cactus. It doesn't give a shit whether you got pain or not.
Yeah.
Everybody, when somebody goes up, you look up to the forest area, going, forest is not like one of my favorite things. I used to watch Northern Exposure, which I don't think I watch it now. But the guy named Adam came.
No, I don't watch it anymore.
This guy got hit by lightning one time. He goes, it caused a big experience. What do you expect, nature boy? A message from on high, a word from the prophet. He goes, nature's a cruel beast, man. 24 hours a day, you're feeding frenzy. I'm thinking to myself, we want to insulate ourselves, man, don't you think? Like a Disney film type, don't you think so?
Oh yeah.
Well, nature doesn't owe you a fucking thing because you're part of it, right?
We want to feed Dude, when we went to, did I tell you about that? When we went to Yellowstone, and I mean, it drove me crazy. I'm kind of glad I saw it, but like, it wasn't my scene, you know, because it was just a bunch of people who never, like the national forest, parks in general, right, are a bunch of people that never get out in nature and don't get it or appreciate it really, but want to see wildlife, you know, before they die, kind of thing, you know. And so they'll be driving through, and there'll be like a bear sighting, and then everybody pulls over, and everybody's like running after it and taking pictures of it and shit. And it's a fucking bear, dude. Like, back in the day, we saw a bear, we got the fuck away from it, or we like played dead. Now we're like running after it with phones.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous, dude.
You think like Grizzly Man, that
Yeah.
movie? Oh my God. I watched that thing twice. I went, okay, man, you're not communicating telepathically with the bears.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they're like my soul brothers. I'm thinking, okay, man, you want to dick around with the other creatures who don't look at you benignly? That's the people who go to the zoo. I think zoos are horrible. I don't like zoos personally. I think they've got some places to keep animals that are endangered and everything.
Uh-huh.
But to me, it's like they don't belong there. You drag their asses out of Africa, out of North America. We put them in a place we can look at them. There's stuff going. I don't care for that. First thing again, maybe that's like a big illustration of what's happening to us is maybe UFOs. Maybe like the zoo. You kind of zoom in once in a while at the UFOs, looking at the creatures in America. You know, all of us human beings out here. They look at us for a while. They fly around, check us out. We get the hell out of here, man. We've seen the zoo for a while. Where's the zoo? Over there on Earth.
I can't even believe zoos, man.
I just don't like them, personally.
I can't believe we have zoos. It's horrible.
Well, I think human beings are zoos for other extraterrestrials.
And yet we just destroy like, the habitat where they actually could just be living, you know? It's like, at least Colorado did pretty well as far as like having BLM and stuff. Back east is a joke.
I remember back in '75 when we first moved here, when John Denver was against the Olympics going up in Alaska. Remember that? They didn't want the Olympics.
Yeah.
The Olympics want to come here in Colorado. And a lot of the environmentalists were against it. People were going, we need the money here. That was one of the greatest things
Yeah,
ever.
there's a lot of environmentalists against, you know, that artist too.
Oh, wow.
Going, you know, over the Arkansas River.
Christo?
Christo going over the Arkansas. Yeah, which I kind of get now. I was like really angry about it at first because I was an avid sculptor, and I thought it would have been really cool, and I thought it was ignorant because we would have made so much money. But it's true. I mean, it would have been like this
Disaster.
fucking zoo of people. And, well, Route 50 would have never been the same. They would have, I don't know. They would have added all kinds of stuff that now would still be there, which growing weeds. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Just to like have 2 weeks of like fucking thing over the top of the river, I kind of get it now.
Well, my biggest thing was talking about environmental damage. The people in ATVs cause this environmental damage. The difference being, however, is no one's looking at it. They're on like some sand roads and everything.
Yeah.
Where that thing is, you get like 1,000 people coming through their stuff up in their cars looking at it. Like you just said, getting the slider, like Fred, get the slider today? Yeah, John, it took me 4 hours to get there.
Right.
With all the traffic and people
Right.
taking photographs. And I got a crystal photograph of it. Oh, great, man. And you want to stand away with the
Well, there would have
camera?
been all sorts of collateral damage because
Lawsuits?
of yeah, well, just people being idiots. You know, like I was talking about with the national park. It would have been like a national park for a month or so. You know? And so, would it have been worth it? I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't understand what the purpose was.
Well, he does all kinds of things
Yeah.
just for the
Curtains
art,
and everything
for the
else,
sake of
wrapping the
art.
buildings, yeah, the right
It's
side,
really just like
everything.
an art. Yeah, the building thing, that's no big deal because it's already in the city. But the natural stuff he was doing, it was cool and all, but you're right, like almost always interfere with nature. But his argument was that he was bringing attention to nature and money and change. You know? Like for instance, he raised a shit ton of money prior to coming out here, and then eventually not even coming out here, for the bighorn sheep and their habitat, which was destroyed by the highway. not Cristo. The highway, first and foremost, destroyed their habitat.
Yeah.
Because it was going through the fucking canyon.
And the migration patterns and everything else, right?
Yeah, they can't come across that shit. Period. Like now. Not that they really could. Well, no, they could have come across that river because that river gets low.
They know when to do it too. Because the nature knows how to take care of itself,
Yeah.
right?
So he raised a whole bunch of money to improve that, which they did use to improve that. And then ultimately we didn't even let him come. So yeah, it raised an interesting point. You know, it's like, are we just so set in our ways that we don't want anything to change, even though at one point in time we put a fucking highway in there and didn't give a fuck, you know, because that was price of progress. So the highway was already there. He was just, see, now I'm making an argument for him.
Well,
But I guess what I'm saying is I understand both sides. Because what he's talking about is just like action versus inaction. You know, doing things. You know, like you have a street fair in your town. Do you have to have a street fair in your town? No. But it promotes interest in your town. People have something to do. I mean, it's like, why is everybody freaking out right now? Because they can't do anything. And then other times, getting upset about anything having to be done. You know, oh, we're going to have a fair in our town, or you're not going to, circus ain't coming in here. You know, it's like people oppose the circus coming in, and there's people like excited about it. But it's like now everybody's pissed off because they can't do it, which is hilarious because half of those people don't even really want it to happen.
we know we had an odd thing happen here in Florence for a couple of years. We had an Americana festival. Total disaster.
Really?
Well, the first
What,
year,
did it only one? Or how many?
there's two of them, 2 years in a row.
Okay.
We had one over here by the brewery before the brewery went in.
Okay. When was this?
This was like 6 years ago.
Okay.
5, 6 years ago.
I was around. I think I might have seen it.
Well, it was sequestered on Front Street, which usually used to be. It still is kind of quiet there, going east and west. Now the brewery's there, and someday that nursing home, that Golden Age Center. I hope that people my age, a little bit older, go in there and restructure that damn thing, because all I had now is karaoke and all that shit. We want to kind of update it. I think that's the boomers going to get in and start moving that stuff around.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that whole area is kind of relatively still quiet through there. We'll put them in there. We have a buses over by Purcell, we have a big parking lot over there. As you go up south of town, there's like big opening by the train tracks.
Yeah.
But people park in there. We're trying. Not as many people show up as they thought it was going to be, because it came down to selling T-shirts and actually like the popcorn stuff and everything. Okay, so the second year was different, but everything in the park over here, the tickets were so high. The people would go to Pueblo, for a family of 4 go to Pueblo and back, and save money and still have nothing. It's not pay as much as that.
Yeah.
They kept lowering the price down to what was like free. Well, in Florence, once the word gets around, even in today, like with technology and everything, it's all over, man. The joke was there's no people on the stage and there wasn't like people walking back and forth. I'm thinking sometimes it's not the thing itself, it's how it's organized, how they promote it. That's what I think is one of the biggest issues. I think a lot of these concerts and everything else is not who do you want to come in here? The whole townspeople. I'm thinking, well, if you want to do it, if you're going to do it, you got to make it accessible to everybody. Don't you think?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's just my opinion.
But I think there's a deeper problem there, John. I think it's support, right? Because I think that was my point earlier, is that maybe in Florence too, but definitely Canyon, you try to do things like this. Like I've had friends actually do night markets, you know, in Canyon a few years ago. They try to get something up and running and make it like a regular thing, and there's just not support for it. People are stagnant and almost anti doing anything, you know. Like, oh, I freak out about it, you know.
Well, in Florence, we want to support it. That's the whole thing. We, as a group, we really want to support these things. So we had the exact opposite happening. We wanted to support it, but the way they were doing it is we couldn't get involved in it. Because people make it so hard sometimes to get involved in it, because what's happening here? We get this idea of we have a list of scheduled events. Well, if those events aren't met for some reason, a few of them, they don't make it, or they can't show up, or it didn't work out, that's one thing. But I have a list of events going on, but nothing's happening. The first year people are going, why the hell am I even here? I came here to get involved in this thing. So you think that can happen too? Was that organized very well? Have you ever seen that
Well,
before?
of course, yeah, but that gets figured out over time if there's support. You know?
Well, that's right. If they can afford to get in. That's the whole thing.
Well, that's the support. Like they'll afford to get it if people vote it in. Like this is my whole point, is that in this town in a canyon and lots of towns across the United States, it's like you have these fucking curmudgeonly old motherfucking people who don't want any change or anything to happen. And I don't know what they want to happen. And they're the same people right now that are saying coronavirus is a hoax. Fuck you. We're gonna do the things we want to do. And it's like, where's that energy when we want to like do new things? And now they're trying to say the coronavirus isn't real just because we're being told they can't do it. It's this weird ego thing, man. Like, don't tell me to do something that I don't want to do, and period. Like, whether it's a fun festival or it's to put masks on for the coronavirus, it's like the same fucking bullshit. It's like,
Well, I can tell
we're
you.
not trying to tell you what to do. We're just trying to live our lives and have it be interesting. And then, as far as the coronavirus, we're just trying to protect everybody and work together as a community. It's not a fucking hoax.
But talk about support. I can give you a comparison and contrast in Florence. The Americana Festival, the 4th of July thing was an absolute success, man. In the first year, because this year we couldn't have it.
Because it's America. Yeah.
But people went down to the park and spent all kinds of money down there. But it wasn't. That's the other thing is, with the Americana Festival, the whole park was closed off. You couldn't walk in here to pay an admission price. When they don't charge admission prices, people flood the place. They'll buy all kinds of T-shirts and popcorn. And you start saying, they split up. That's what Florence is used to. That's their park, right? So when an event is taking place down there, everything is closed off. We're not used to that.
Yeah.
We used to have things accessible. I mean, that's the problem. When you have a certain thing, a certain kind of way of doing things, also you want to charge for it, like at the front gate. No one's going to get in here, man. Very few people are going to show up for that.
Yeah.
If you don't charge us, we're going to blow money out and buy popcorn, all kinds of stuff. So that's what succeeds around here, is to have the openness. We're going to blow money. We're like, now we're going to charge you $50 to get in here, or whatever it is. I'm thinking. That's the other problem, is when people have these festivals, they don't look at the local community, see what kind of, get a feel for what's going on around here.
Yeah.
I think that's you're right about people wanting to support it. Versus people who promote it should look around who they're going to promoting to. You want to select people coming from West Cliff or some places like maybe Dawson Ranch or something. That's one thing. But if you want the local yokels to get involved,
Yeah.
I think you got to cater to that too. If you want people to spend money, that's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, 4th of July is this whole like bullshit. Support America
I'm not saying it's not,
to piss off people that supposedly don't support America. You know?
but I'm saying if you're gonna have a business thing going on, the dumb way is to they make sure people can't get into it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Do you think that's true about local
Sure.
community?
Sure.
You
Yeah.
understand both sides of that then, right?
Yeah.
Because you can have a bunch of people being really lazy and lackadaisical, but don't want to get involved. I got that. You've seen that a lot too, okay, in cities. When people want to get involved,
Well, I'm also talking about like opposition.
I'm talking about opposition in terms of not feel for the community, how they operate here. We'll put a big thing in here without looking around for a while first.
Yeah.
That'd be the smart way of doing it. What kind of business do they have here? What kind of median income is in here? That'd be more of a projectile, don't you think, to figure it out first? That's why I think a lot of times these things fail. Other things succeed, like Burning Man. That succeeded. So,
Right.
but that thing was different. But they figured out how to do that kind of thing. That's what I like about this some stuff. Other things just they blew up in their face. Why? Well, first of all, what's this all about? People like to have a certain thing, they're involved in it somehow, I think. As a group, like Grateful Dead experience type of thing, you want to be involved in that?
Mm-hmm.
That's why they were successful. Grateful Dead helped for you. Until I've heard from a couple people toward the last of the Grateful Dead stuff, that like new people came in, they weren't like for peace and love, they were like pretty violent. Oh,
Hey,
your
this
friend?
is my fiance. I'm just gonna tell her we're having coffee here. Hi, sweets.
Quiet. It's fiance.
Good. I'm having a coffee with John today, this morning, I should say. No, that's okay. That's okay. Oh, you just want to say? Yeah, well, now you know. All right, sounds good. Bye. What were we talking about?
We're talking about festivals.
Oh, yeah. Well, Burning Man's like that. I mean, Burning Man is like if you aren't involved, you're a tourist. So it got so big, it got really big, and so there's still tourists that go, even though the whole point of the festival is to not be a tourist.
But
Do it.
it arose organically, right? You start off in the bottom and work its way up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's one thing back then. They have
That's why
festivals.
it's successful, though. I agree. Like,
Yeah.
because people are involved. You want to be involved in something like that, and so it sucks if you get there and everyone's like, no, we got this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Instead, they're like, yeah, what do you want to do? Write up a proposal, submit it, tell us what you're gonna do, and then we'll put you in the, they call it the what, where, when, but it's like a guide, a pamphlet that tells you what's going on. And anyone can do it. Anyone can be in it, and then say you just bring like a carport tent and you have like whatever, a bunch of dildos in there on display. And like, come and check out the dildo display, or whatever the fuck you do.
Wow.
It could be anything you want it to be.
There's this movie called
Like we did a wedding chapel where you could consummate the marriage. That's what I did with my wife at the time, Robin.
Red Hair Goddess.
What?
The Red Hair Goddess.
Yeah, the Red Hair Goddess.
I still have that story somewhere in the house. I don't know how to read it.
But that's what we did, you know. Like, what would you do if you went to Burning Man, do you think? If you had, like, a decent amount of resources, you know?
That's a good question. What I would do is I would go there the first year and get like walk around, see what's going on, and get.
Yeah, that's what you should do.
Because I think that, well, I mean, you could just plop in there and put stuff that maybe might be a seller. You never know what could happen in those things, right?
I'll give you an example of something really cool. Yeah, I saw the first year I went there. It was this art installation, right? But it was small. It was like an area this big, outside, just outside. And they put in some pulpits, is that what they're called? Where people, a church where you sit, there's benches.
Oh, pews.
Pews, there you go. They put in some pews, and then what is a pulpit? Is that where the guy talks?
Yeah,
Right.
guy, yeah.
So there's pews and then a pulpit, right? And in the pews there's like TVs,
Oh wow.
and in the pulpit there's a TV. And the TVs in the pulpit I think were on. The TV in the pulpit I think was on. It was like had some reverend on there maybe or something, And then there's like the TVs in the. Just was cool, man. It was all dusty, and it was like in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere. I thought that was cool.
You like that, huh?
Yeah, I like shit like that. The sculpture using random things like that, But making a statement, It's a great place to do that. And then, but then there's like everything there, There's like entire tents. There's one place called Corn and Eggs, right? And they put up a bunch of tents, and then the inside is very nice. They have like pillows and things, and like different tents. There's people. At this point, it's like professionals because it's such a big deal now. Burning Man is, but you go in there, and they'll have like eggs, like breakfast or brunch. If you get there at the right time, they'll be serving it. You just get a paper plate, get your eggs, and you walk through, and there's people fucking.
Oh, there are? Wow.
Yeah, like literally fucking, and in some cases being filmed. So there's porn, because it got big, and so now the porn industry, like, they'll have it on the internet, and it'll be like porn and eggs porn, live from Burning Man, and they'll actually make money on it later on, which is not what you're supposed to do at Burning Man. But the point is, like, anything you want to make happen out there, you can make happen.
Well,
As long as you're not fucking with other people, you're not messing with people's free will.
Is that true, you think? Anything make happen?
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, there's certain things that they wouldn't allow, but that's because you're messing with other people. Like, let's say noise or fire. Like, they allow certain fire things, but you have to get that approved, and it has to be on a certain time because they have to get all the fire people there, and they have to like put a siren up for the local towns and stuff. If it's like really loud or something, you have to get all that approved. But if it's just like something you're doing discreetly inside your tent, and you're inviting people, if they want to come see it, they can come see it. Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is, dude. It could be like sex with animals.
Well,
Unless there's like, I guess that's a bad example because then you're forcing the animal, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? As long as you're not hurting anybody or hurting anything or whatever the fuck. But they have police force there now. I mean, they have police environment now. More so than they ever used to have. And they're there primarily to bust people with drugs, drug busts. But I've never gotten busted or harassed out there. Because I'm discreet about it,
The thing about that kind of environment is you don't know who's going to show up, who's going to become part of the crowd and everything.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest interest of mine when something mushrooms up like that from nowhere. You get, I
So
can.
random, dude.
Oh yeah, but especially when you have, because other festivals come and go, like overnight, maybe 2 years and they're gone. This thing kind of, for whatever reason, you can never predict what's going to take off, right? There's no way of knowing what bands can come in. They become a band of the age, but maybe other bands are just better. Didn't have the right manager, weren't there at the right time, that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? Same with anything else in the world. The other festivals probably went at the same time Burning Man was like maybe, I don't know, blow up Mick thing, whatever the hell they had out there, whatever it is. And they didn't take off. And I think sometimes you go, how come this one took off? You go, somebody's got no explanation for it. You can be way in the middle of the Nevada desert. There's been concerts, I bet, in town. People figured out everything, had big expectations for it. Like Americana in a small town, big city, it just flopped, man. Because sometimes people think, well, we can logically examine the data, what's going on here, thinking that's got nothing to do with it. It just is what it is, man. That's what people hate to hear that kind of logic. I'm thinking it's not logic, it's just real.
Yeah.
Did you think so? Because some things you go spend your life, well, why that? How come that movie was successful in this one? You know, it's a better movie. I'm thinking, like Star Wars. It came out just, man, just excitement.
Yeah.
Other movies came out at the same time, maybe, like 2001 was never a film that was like that. I mean, it was a very important film, but it was like slow moving. You had to think what's going on. It made money, made its mark. But when Star Wars came, like slam, bam, people
Well, it's
loved
because
it.
there's a lot more people from a ticket standpoint that
What I'm trying to say is, it's two different things going on here, right?
appreciate shitty writing, simple writing.
Some writing, but then the problem with that is you want to make a business, you have to put away that semi elitist attitude. Now, I'm not saying you have that,
No.
but people wonder why it's not working. I'm thinking, well, you got to, not saying you got to dumb it down, but you got to find what people are interested in. And the other thing is, people might be interested in it for other reasons than when you made it. That's what I find interesting. There's things like,
But that's what I'm saying is like, but that's what I meant, I guess, is that like George Lucas, for instance, was interested in entertaining the masses and becoming successful and creating an empire, which he did. But like Stanley Kubrick was a brilliant man who probably felt he had to make these films.